Hello, beautiful SHA community. The tussle between light and dark within you is your divine responsibility, because it is in the bones and the blood of your lineage, of your beingness. This tussle between light and dark is within you, whether you realize this or not. It is seen in the third dimensional reality as a big play, as many of you would realize already and know. But you are here as a custodian to truly honor your ancestors. They have chosen you. Your lineage has chosen you. You are the arrowhead of everything that came before. Your self-healing alchemy is your divine responsibility to them and to yourself. The multidimensional stories that you are embodied within as a part of the echo that's happening within your being, relating to every experience that your ancestor has had, ever experienced, ever felt. You are now multidimensionally feeling all of these different things. It's okay to feel these things. You aren't failing in any way, shape, or form by feeling these things. Many people associate a reaction to be feeling angry because something happened. A reaction, from my understanding, is an outward wielding of the sword, whether that's used from a higher place or a much lower place. The feeling state isn't a reaction. It's an actual processing. It's like a cauldron that is being stirred, and you are learning how to feel and accept yourself within all of these different aspects of being. It requires a deep level of acceptance for everything that your ancestors have ever felt, for everything that they have ever done, been, expressed themselves as, thought. And this ancestral line goes back to our original human experience, regardless of what aspects of consciousness or cosmos we are connected to. Your lineage is like a pool that you swim within. And this pool has specific memories and very unique perspectives that you have, on some level, decided to come into this experience to resolve. The light and dark is a polarity that exists within you. Dark isn't evil or bad, it's just unrealized. It's the lead, and the light is the gold, metaphorically speaking, alchemically speaking, in sort of a playful sense. That what is led within all of your lineage is your greatest challenge, and usually the things that you feel fearful about. Your depth of being is literally how comfortable or how willing you are to dive into that space of feeling and not be defined by those things, by those feelings, by those thoughts, even if at the time of experiencing them, they're exceptionally painful. That depth, going deep into that unconscious, allows you to make peace and embody at the same time more of who you are, to harmonize, to unify. Healing is really just unifying. It's separation is through perspective. At any given moment, we might have 7 billion different perspectives in the one moment of Earth. And that is a refraction of light expressing itself in many different ways. And it continues to shift and change like the water. But you aren't defined by your perspective, nor is your experience defined by your perspective. It's a transitioning process. Unless you choose to take it on as a belief system, and that becomes more fixed or cyclic in nature. And therefore then you play out an experience that involves your belief systems and your perceptions that usually exist with the cycles, or what we know as the lineage sort of storyline within our own being. So the tussle of light and dark within you is reflected into this third dimensional stage reality. They are genuine reflections in that we are seeing, psychopathy, narcissism, manipulation, and power issues, which reflects back to us that as humanity, we have a lot to resolve around our power flame. The resolution of the power flame comes from being more honest with self. When we are honest in our use of power, when we recognize our higher will and our lower will, and we've found a way to bridge them both, we are literally then able to discern and navigate through this outer stage reality and recognize the reaction that would normally have played out through the past lineage. You have a choice before that stage of outward action comes into it, because that's what reaction means. It's a cyclic action that is continually happening. And in that moment, when you feel deeply and fearful, or you feel a deep sense of terror or anxiety or stress, you recognize and you just sit and process that feeling and recognize what it is, not trying to move it aside or ignore it or suppress it, just acknowledging that that's your experience at that particular moment, and it doesn't define you ultimately. It's a transitioning state. When we over-identify or over-attach ourselves to those cycles that play out through our lineage, we are then kind of falling into the script of what that lineage is, and we have to go into the script to come out of it. Often we have to step right into all of these patterns. We have to witness it through our parentals and our grandparents and through our siblings, and we have to it's us trying to tussle the light and dark within ourselves through these family trees, through these family dynamics. And what you've inherited through being in that lineage is your responsibility to find resolution within, which will take the time it takes. It will take the processing it takes. And it will always, whenever you've moved through a certain aspect, you'll move into another aspect that reflects it on another level. And you'll be moving through all these different perspectives as a way of working through all of the perceptions, all of the thoughts, all of the feelings that your ancestors have thought or felt. Because right now we are bridge walkers. We are between worlds, and we are very much coming into a new reality. But to do that, we have to complete all of the cycles that played out in that last world, in that world that holds a certain type of information that exists within our blood and our DNA, within our bones, through the lineage that we have incarnated in. As custodians, we have been chosen to multidimensionally embody all of the things that have ever been felt, thought, witnessed, experienced, find a way to harmonize, heal being moving closer to spirit, heal being not defining yourself by the perceptions, thoughts, feelings that they had, but choosing to fully experience them as a witness within those experiences, as a complete committed spiritual warrior in the presence of those stories. You are your story. while you are in the human experience, you are your story. I've often heard people say, don't be in your story, you're in your story too much. I don't believe that. I don't know that to be true, because from my understanding, in a third dimensional reality, our perceptions are part of how we experience this reality. And when someone tells a story that might be intense or sad or devastating, people assume that that means that that person is stuck in their story. Nobody's really ever stuck. You can get more deeply into cycles, but you're still moving through those things, even if you don't realize how much you're doing. Even if there's a level of narcissism, psychopathy, or any of those energies playing out in the story and they feel like they never end, you're still moving through them. You're never static, We may be in third dimensional reality where vibration works differently to higher realms, but we are still moving through things. Whether how our will gets expressed, how we decide to move forward, how we decide to unify the higher and the lower will, whether we can accept ourselves in all different feelings states and not suppress those feeling states and still choose better for your lineage as a custodian. That is up to you. The tussle of light and dark exists within and is refracted through many different perspectives in the here and now, across all times, dimensions, spaces, and realities of the past, present, and future of this here and now. So everything that we are experiencing is a collective unconscious to conscious experience right now, being the bridge walkers between worlds, between polarities. We're learning how to find harmony and balance within our own beings and within all of the lineage, ancestral, bloodline narratives that have played out, that you have been chosen to resolve through your embodiment, through your turning lead into gold, turning unconscious into conscious, recognizing something that has been plaguing a lineage for a long time, and then being the one who is in their sovereignty, their higher will, connected to their lower will in unison, and saying no more. This is not my cycle anymore. When we are between worlds, we are resolving and completing past narratives, which is what we call our ancestors. Our ancestors, we are a part of this pool that our ancestors' collective consciousness are within currently, even if they've passed over. That also extends out as a larger pool to humanity, Earth, this Earth stage that we are experiencing. We are actually experiencing a collective field, whether we have a perception of our own personal identity, and at the same time we are a witness to the collective field having a personal identity, and we are source, which is the light that shines through all of these different aspects, and then the aspect before source, which is the darkness that exists where everything is possible and everything is probable, but nothing has taken form. We are all of these things. So the tussle between light and dark is within you, and you are a custodian, a chosen one within your lineage who needs to turn the unmastery, which is like the lead or the unrealization, into the gold, which is the realization, through the process of being in one story or multidimensional story and embodying that story in a way where you find yourself as the spiritual warrior who honors that balance and finds the healing, which is taking things to spirit, by shedding those skins, by shedding all of those past thoughts, feelings, by feeling them fully and then releasing them. This process requires a lot of self-love. Self-love is loving all of your ancestors' thoughts and feelings, even though you don't agree or appreciate those experiences at that time. Self-love is loving every aspect of your being, which exists in the here and now through that lineage. Thank you.